Thank you, Nicholas. And next one is Andrew Zinn, the technologist. Andrew Zinn, he was an association network administrator in New York State Supreme Court, a MIS associate director in a nonprofit organization, an active investor and strategic advisor in blockchain, crypto and crypto mining, an active green energy consultant, and real estate investor, developer, and rental management. Let's welcome Andrew Zinn.
Thank you, moderator, and good morning, everybody. And thanks to Ambassador, and thanks to the diplomat and delegates, and Dr. Queen, Dr. Ying from Collaborate, and also the speakers on the podiums. So it's cold weather. Thanks, everybody, still coming to attend the event. Hopefully, you're still awake. All right. So what is Yezcoin? Yezcoin, I'm honored to represent Yezcoin as a company. So what is Yezcoin? As you see in the slideshow, Yezcoin is using AI and blockchain technology to promote digital rights and to your digital identity and promote global collaboration with social consent and make the digital world safer for everyone. So as we hear the gentleman already mentioned, nobody can be perfectly provide a solution in AI or blockchain to solve the whole world. If we talk about AI and blockchain alone, it will be, if not days, or months, or years. So I'm not going to spend that much time over here to explain. So I'm going to later on we'll have slideshows to simplify five technologies Yezcoin is going to provide and work with the organizations like Collective, and then we're going to provide solutions to UN to fight for the two SDG agendas today as the topic, right? So next slide. So Yezcoin over the speed. So who I am? My name is Andrew Zinn. I'm the senior advisor from Yezcoin, and as the moderator already mentioned, so I have more than 20 years IT and management experience in Wall Street, and also in the Unified Court System or New York State Supreme Court, and also a nonprofit organization and Electric Power Corporation. I used to work for the network infrastructure operation manager in the largest clearinghouse and settlement house in Wall Street. I also was an associate network administrator in the New York Supreme Court. And I work as a MIS associate director in a nonprofit organization. The organization is helping the people who are suffering economic uncertainty and also suffering domestic violence problems, and also illness, and also have a problem in regarding to the food. So, and also I'm an active green energy consultant and a real estate investor, developer, and also manage rental properties. All right. So now, before we go deeper to the agenda, let me ask a question for everybody. So what is the definition of poverty in terms of how much dollar a person is making per day? Hopefully, anybody can answer this question. It's like Jeopardy. Boom, 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 boom. Anybody? Anybody? Yes.
I know the poverty rate over the year is making over $12,000 a year.
That's one of the good answer. Who else?
Well, I Googled this before I came, so it's 190, I believe, right?
That's another good answer. I'm so surprised, the young gentleman. Thank you for youth and understand this question. Thank you. This is why we want to involve the youth, women, and kids. Yes.
Well, are we considering just America or global?
Global.
Well, we know that 1.5 billion people make less than $1 a day.
That's another perfect answer. Thank you. All right. So what's the UN definition? Because again, this is a UN represent the whole world. So let me speak for the the UN definition, there are 17 of them, so today we're talking about 2 of them. First one is the SDG, or Sustainable Development Goal. Number 1, no poverties. There's 736 million to 1.3 billion people live in some forms of poverty, making less than $1.25 a day. That will be in the range, and then all 3 of the answers, all right? Thank you, that's a good answer. So by 2030, reduce the number of poverties by half and implement social protection system, promote equal rights to basic service, including financial service, allocate enough resource for development, creating policy and framework to facilitate collaboration at nation and regional level. So this is the UN, one of the UN goals. This is the one of the topic and genders, and we're going to work with other organizations to provide solution to fight for it. So another agenda and the UN SDG 13 is the climate action. So burning large amount of fossil fuels are alter weather patterns that are direct and indirectly impact our food production and also lead sea level rising 1 to 4 feet by 2100. By 2030, strengthen capacity to respond to nature disaster, integrated planning and national policies, promote awareness, committed to $100 billion annual green funding. Again, $100 billion annual green funding, and increase capacity on women, youth, the gentleman, I was surprised, so youth, and local community. So this is the one of the SDGs and from UN. So as you see, UN has a very big goal. I was told by 2021, this $100 billion annual green funding will be available, but I don't get my word on it. I just heard this target from UN. All right, so we talk about SDG, we talk about the AI and blockchain. So how Yezcoin is going to help and provide and work with other associates to provide a solution to fight for these 2 agendas. So let me introduce 5 technologies Yezcoin is embraced right now. So first one, we're using hybrid mode. So as we heard the gentleman earlier mention, blockchain has one of the major characters, decentralized. As we were aware, majority of the financial system or government or a lot of systems are using centralized systems. So what's the difference between centralized and decentralized system? So centralized is, by simple words, controlled by a single entity. Decentralized is no single one entity controlling the entity. So by using this technology, we're going to provide security and performance in terms of speed to bridge to new world adoption, wealth, and distribution. So meaning that everybody who will participate this in the investment in terms of financials. So second technology, as you see on the slide, is biometric ID. It's a digital identity right. It can access to the financial service, reduce the fraud. As everybody is using, I believe right now, fingerprint is one of them. Facial recognition, I believe in a lot of countries, including these countries, and in Asia especially, are fully utilize this kind of technology. And voice recognition technology, I know everybody is using like phone, like a lot of like lights and music, and are using the voice recognition to operate those tools and devices. This is a second technology our company is offering to help to provide a solution. And third is a KYC AML compliance. We're compliance ready. We are going to cooperate with government, NGO, or non-government organization, private sectors, to provide the KYC or know your customer or an AML, anti-money laundering. I believe a lot of big corporations, financial especially, and governments, every employee is required to take the course and test after that in order to continue your employment. So this is another technology. And the next slide, the next technology is mobile blockchains. As we already heard the gentleman mention, there are 7 billion mobile phones right now currently in the whole world. So that meaning the collaboration of the whole world. So we involve more and more people in the whole world to can enable them to fight for these 2 agendas, the no poverty as well as the climate actions, right? The last one but least one is the smart AI. So as everybody remember, not long ago, one of the companies invented the AlphaGo. Is a very artificial intelligent robot or machine compete with their chess world champion. He beat them. So this is a kind of a technology, AI, artificial intelligence, we're going to use, all right? But not at the same level, but we're going to improve. So we mentioned about 7 billion phones in the whole world. So I believe, including myself, we know a lot of people is using, have cell phones in the US. A lot of people also understand there is a European and Asian, a lot of phones also. Let me ask a second question, just for fun. How many of you know how many mobile phones or mobile users in Africa? Just a quick question, another Jeopardy question. Anybody? The young gentleman? Anybody? Just a guess. Yes. 35 million. Anybody else?
Again, I cheated. I Googled the answer.
Oh, no, you're not, you cannot. Yes, the gentleman over there. 100 million is another answer. Who? 2 million. 200 million. All right. No more? All right. Let's find our answer. So now the answer. According to the statistics in October 2018, there are 444 million mobile subscribers in Africa. Almost a 500 million people. So nobody is getting close. So this is the environment. So mobile, we can embrace the blockchain technology and AI technology to the mobile phone, make it mobile blockchain technology that can transform each mobile users to an investor and a mobile activist. So that will combating the properties, because why there's a property, the definition of property, the reason become property, there's 3 major reasons, because of lack of education. People do not have good education. And second is do not have the opportunity to find a job or find a better job. And third, they don't have the lack of the opportunity to access to the financial system or financial funding. So meaning they don't have money. They don't have education. They don't have job. So by providing the phone, people can learn, people can invest, people can make the phone as a bank. As a gentleman mentioned, the Bitcoin, we don't talk about Bitcoin right now, but it's an opportunity to generate money in the phone itself, can make the phone as a bank, can make the phone as a learning machine, a school, and also can make the phone as a voting machine to support the climate action, etc. Right? So Yezcoin, we provide Yezcoin Academy, so we can be one of the mentioned earlier why people become poor. It's education. So lack of education become poverty. So we're providing the Yezcoin Academy. There's multiple channels of education, thousands of people on blockchain. The latest technology programs are over there. So we're going to store more and more related, the latest and greatest technology, so that everybody, not only the US, but also in the world, even the poorest country in the world, can learn, can be educated, and can be financially ready. So we have right now we have a very good campaign or program fighting for the climate action. We call Go Green with a Yezcoin campaign. So what do? So the members help promote awareness by submitting the photo of how they can contribute to the climate action. So the blockchain, you can be very complicated in the high tech, but we can translate it and make it very simple. Everybody can use normally. So what we did was high school students in Nigeria, they go to shopping. Instead of using the nylon plastic bag, they're using a tote bag for the grocery shoppings. So because it's a recycled bag, people can use and use again and again and again. So this is one of the good examples, the small examples to make things simple, but we're using AI and the blockchain technology in the background and to make it happen and to make everybody engaged, involved in the whole world, no matter where you are, how good you are, how high of education you are. So currently, Yezcoin, we have users or we have investors, we have people who owns our coins in more than 104 countries. I'm not sure if you can see in the map, so the countries will have a different color if it's involved. I have a detailed number. So specifically, there are 150,000 Yes token holders right now in the world, and 400 of them in 104 countries have been KYC verified and have established the digital identity, which allow them to access financial, not only the financial service, but also the education system and job opportunities. So what's the KYC again? Knowing your customers and AML also. So to make it short, so I know a lot of people will have a lot of questions in terms of all the topics. Again, no one solution, no one person can solve the whole world, but we're working with all the organizations on the podiums and also try to involve everybody. We make the complicated things simple, make it happen. In the background, we provide the technology, AI and blockchain to support this and make it easier and make it more powerful, make it faster, make it more secure. All right, so I have the multimedia, the social media address. If you're interested, feel free and look at it, and also including the email address, and feel free if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Now I cannot wait to introduce this amazing woman to both of us. She is the founder of Global Empowerment Movement, GEM, organization with United Nations Economic and Social Council status since 2018. Through this organization, she actively advocates and participates at UN forums to address critical local and global issues for sustainable development. She is a recipient of the President Lifetime Achievement Award, presented by the 44th President of the United States, President Barack Obama, for excellency in service. She is Georgia State Global Goodwill Ambassador and United Nations representative, dedicated to empowerment services and advocacy to advance family and community development, address public health issues, including gender equality, human trafficking, and poverty eradication. She is the author of the Georgia Senate Resolution 381, an empowerment book called We Are the Blessing of Africa, Reshaping Our Greatness Together. She founded Blessing of Africa Empowerment Foundation to focus on addressing issues in Africa. Her mission is to live to her name and to be a blessing to the needy people, especially women prone to subjugation, with special focus on the abused, abandoned single mothers and their children, disadvantaged by poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's have Dr. Queen Blessing.
Wow, thank you so much. Once again, I want to say thank you to every one of you for making it here. We are truly very grateful that you've honored our invitation. A lot is being said. Like I said earlier in my introductory comments, I am not a blockchain expert, but I am an advocate seeking for solutions to the sustainable goals agenda. So we are here to rub our minds together, but I just wanted to share briefly, just give you an overview of the main topic, the substance of the reason actually why we are here. We are all affected by the climate change, and we see poverty all around us. So more than half of the extreme poverty, of the extreme poor, live in sub-Saharan Africa, with an estimated 413 million people. The majority of the world's poorest exist in remote rural areas and often in countries with unstable governance. Lack of investment means minimal access to schools, healthcare, energy, and safe water. Localized issues such as socio-economic status, gender, ethnicity, and geography are determining factors on what resources these poor communities can readily access from national and international funding agencies. There are many factors that causes and sustain poverty. Let me take that again. There are many factors that causes and sustain poverty. Natural causes can be earthquakes, just as we've seen all around us, Haiti in 2020, and severe droughts in Somalia in 2016. Although the natural disasters may be short-term, the lasting effects are typically long-term. The magnitude 7 earthquake in Haiti may have only lasted for a few minutes, but the devastation of the country's economy is still felt after a decade. International humanitarian aids are essential during the initial devastating impact of a natural disaster, but one adverse consequences of long-term aids replacing real infrastructural investment in a vicious cycle of sustaining poverty instead of trying to solve poverty. World Bank's mission statement carved in stone at their Washington headquarters is, "Our dream is a world free of poverty." And their Millennium Development Goals is to eradicate extreme poverty by 2030. This fight against poverty is further embedded with the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which are the blueprint to achieving a better and sustainable future for all. These goals address the global challenges that we all must face, including fight against poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. Poverty is driven by money, or more correctly stated, the lack of money. It is claimed that 82% of the global wealth is owned by just 1% of the people. Such wealth is centralized and strictly manipulated with distribution of wealth from the rich developed nations to the poor underdeveloped world, typically through unsustainable aids and loans that makes poorer, indebted nations even more poorer and even more indebted. To break this vicious cycle of manipulated poverty, a globalized, decentralized financial instrument is needed. And blockchain, as I've learned, and I keep learning, offers at its technological heart such a decentralized open system that balances the financial playing field for all, allowing poorer nations to more efficiently and cost-effectively trade their own natural resources using a universal digital coin or digital token that has no single controlling. I will take that again. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Okay. To break this vicious cycle of manipulated poverty, a global decentralized financial instrument is needed. And blockchain offered its technological hearth, such as decentralized open system that balances the financial playing field for all, allowing poorer nations to more efficiently and cost-effectively trade their own natural resources using a universal digital token that has no single controlling and manipulating master. The easier access to money without borders will have a trickle-down beneficial effect to redistribute wealth to the poor. Of course, simply giving out money without planning will be prone to waste and corruption. So the natural network supervision of digital currencies by a global audit means records of trade, transactions, publicly scrutinized and approved. It is estimated that corruption reduces a nation's gross domestic product by 4%. A less corruptible system invariably leads to a higher productivity and greater reduction in poverty. Although the vast majority of scientists agree that human activities are contributing factors to global warming, there are opponents that challenge such assessments. And even a few deniers can provide enough doubting ammunition to political and commercial parties that have vested interest to model the truths for their own electoral campaigns and motivated profits. Like predicting the weather, the science behind analyzing the vast quantities of data is complex, creating enough uncertainties to allow for the spread of misinformation and conflicting arguments. A 2013 assessment of over 20,000 published scientific papers since 1990 indicates that 97% concludes that global warming is caused by humans. Despite this overwhelming consensus, I will skip a line. Opponents of climate change usually cite the fact that our planet has naturally enduring periodic cycles of ice, ages, and global warming before men even learned how to use fire, or even that high level of atmospheric carbon dioxide is good for trees. Scientists may find such argument as oversimplification and distortion of facts, but for the majority of average non-technical people, these simplistic statements are easy to digest and, in many cases, place sufficient doubts on the minds to take the reality of climate change seriously. As Mark Twain famously quoted, there are lies, damned lies, and then there are statistics. Although this quote may be considered humorous, the consequence of having statistical data is analyzed and how meaningful conclusions can be drawn from them are very serious matters. In the case of climate change studies, the impact of making the wrong decisions may well determine the future survival of humanity. The amount of data collected on climate change studies are vast, and the modeling used to interpret the data are highly complex. To date, most climate scientists tend to work on their own research in academic isolation or small collaborative group, develop their own algorithms to manipulate their collected data and draw their own conclusions, which even for unsupposedly unbiased scientists, there are invariably personal biasing that goes into their research findings, and most importantly, in how they propose solution. Blockchain is specifically a digital ledger that correlates manipulates, and stores vast amount of continuous incoming data. Hence, it is ideally suited as a potential global depository for all climate research data. Artificial intelligence, by its very nature, is a self-learning automated system that advances its knowledge base with each subsequent iterations, and therefore is also ideally suited as an unbiased analyzer of climate data that can refine accurate climate change predictions and provide real practical solutions. Google spent $500 million in 2014 to purchase artificial intelligence AL development company DeepMind, which is used mainly for playing games. One of its AI software programs, AlphaZero, was able to self-learn how to play chess in less than 4 hours to beat all other humans and computer programs. Games are fun, but not life-saving. Imagine what a similar investment in a serious artificial intelligence climate change system with blockchain data management could solve for humanity to come. I just read to you something that we prepared based on the topic of our conversation. But many of us still cannot understand how all of this blockchain and artificial intelligence can help to combat poverty and climate change. So it's a continuous effort of learning. I will still apply myself to learning more. What this is actually simply saying is the effectiveness of having blockchain at the background to solving the problems that we have. So I will leave this to the next person to tackle, and let's hear how they are using blockchain and artificial intelligence. Once again, thank you for listening and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Queen Blessing. Now, next one. Yeah, I want to introduce Dr. Ying. Okay, now I'm very glad to introduce this patent inventor, award-winning author. Leong has been actively involved in the technology space for several decades and has many published scientific articles, including Perfect Cytography, series of unbreakable cycryption algorithms. He has developed a concept of embedding moral command codes into AI blockchain algorithms that will safeguard human creators from their own AI creations. Let's welcome Dr. Leong Ying.
Firstly, I obviously want to thank the Permanent Mission of Gambia for hosting this extremely important event, and obviously for our most beautiful and talented Queen Blessing, incredible woman, to give us this opportunity to share our platform. Queen Blessing actually told me on day one when I approached her to put this great event on, that when you put this on, you better have solutions, because Gambia wants solution. You want solution. You don't want talk, talk, talk. You want walk, walk, walk. Okay? And the United Nations itself, as you can see from the face up there, is the General Secretary. He made an announcement recently that the UN itself, the largest intergovernmental organization in the world, must embrace blockchain. In fact, his organization has taken the step forward. His Children Fund, which accepts $6 billion, has now officially and legally accept Bitcoin and Ethereum within its donation. Do you know just how big a landmark that is? It is huge. Obviously, we want, on this stage, I'm joined by not just talkers, but walkers, like GUC here. They already have digital currency. So obviously, we want to use that money for good causes. Otherwise, we won't be upon this stage. So, yes, we want to do the action that you, the General Secretary, has said that must be part of this organization, digital currency, okay? Of course, there's a lot more to blockchain than digital currency, as Nicholas pointed out, and as I will obviously go into a bit more detail. So how are we going to do the walking instead of the talking? All right, I'm talking a lot up here, but what am I walking? Well, I'm walking with my global organization, our collective, which I'm totally blessed to have absolutely amazing people. Obviously, Queen Blessing is one of the most talented. She didn't get her award from the President, Barack Obama, for just doing nothing. She's an absolute angel. She's empowering women around the world, albeit predominantly in Africa. She's promoting through her movies, through her book, and she's raising 4 beautiful children and a mother on her own. Damn, I can't even look after myself. Yeah, exactly. She deserves that applause, not me. And other walkers, I mean, there's a gentleman over there, Vincent, movie star, superstar, concert pianist, but he set his life apart with the riches and went out to field. He took a bullet literally to his head in Sudan, protecting children. Okay, if it wasn't for Kevlar helmet, he won't be sitting there now. We'll be posting eulogies about him and his grave. Okay, these are the type of walkers that we have in our organization, all right? Not talkers. We have walkers that are willing to take bullets for people that they're trying to save. Now, I'm a coward. I'm not willing to go out there, even with Kevlar helmet or vest, to save anyone. But I will do my best to promote their mission and put the necessary campaign. So on this stage, you see, we represent the United Nations. We have Africa, we have European, and we have Asians. Okay, so we represent the world. And it's only the world that's going to save the world, not individually. That's why our organization is called Our Collective. And as you see, Queen Blessing with Global Empowerment Movement and Museum Future Foundation are 2 NGOs, are members of our collective. We Can Save Children will be an NGO soon, okay? So he's literally spilled blood and sweat and taken bullets to basically go out there and save millions of children in Africa. So he is doing his walking, not his talking. And we hopefully can generate donation, where it's digital currency, through people like GUC, Yezcoin, to support campaigns like Queen Blessing, empowering women in Africa, like Vincent Lin, saving children in Africa, okay? So obviously our collective, through our global organization, we are affiliated to United Nations, which is leading the way. So thank you to all the UN members here that's helping us lead the way. So through our technology partner, obviously I'm sharing this great platform with GUC, and you heard from Yezcoin as well. We want to implement, so we want to stop talking. We want to start walking. We want these digital currency here donated to great causes like We Can Save Children and Global Empowerment Movement. These are the people that are taking their action and turning them into taking the talking and taking it into walking, okay? So we must support the campaign, whether it's hard currency or digital currency, and the world is moving to a digital currency. So embrace it. The United Nations asks you to embrace it, so embrace it. So now there's a lot of fancy word, people saying AI and blockchain this, as Nicholas pointed out. I'm a physicist. I'm not touting it. I have a PhD in nuclear physics, so I'm very technology and, dare I say, smart, okay? I've been to a lot of events that talk about blockchain AI, but like Nicholas said, most of them, to be honest with you, they just talk. They don't know what they're talking about, okay? So let me make it clear. AI and blockchain are not the same thing, okay? Blockchain is a relatively new invention, only just a decade old. AI has been around for 50 years. You probably watch movies on it, Terminator, etc. Yeah, that is AI. And that is real, okay? Few talk about it, but there is a danger of AI. If you do not program AI correctly, AI can be very, very dangerous. Russia reportedly has an automated weaponized system called Dead Hand that controls its nuclear weapon. Okay? There are drones that are flying over conflict areas that are automated. So the world is approaching what you're seeing in the movies, Terminator. Okay? And like in movie Terminator, the AI, if not programmed correctly, could turn on its creator, which is us. So our collective organization, like I said, we do great deeds. But we do great deeds because we base our principles on core commandments, on core vision that controls us to do goodness, okay? We are human, they're not born to do goodness. We're not born to do evil either. We're born innocent. When we grow up, we turn through our culture, through our interaction, through the peers, through our teachers, through our parents. That is what turns us either into good people or evil people, okay? So through our organization, we have our own commandment. Now, we developed this commandment so that it is programmable. It can be coded into command code. I call it AI moral code. Those command code can be programmed not just into the software, but embedded into firmware to protect the AI, to make, the way I describe it is to put humanity into AI, okay? Humanity into AI. So, blockchain. Well, Monker's a UN guy over there. He gave me one great line. I'm going to steal your phone. So Andrew said to you, there are 444 million phones in Africa. Through our organization, we want to aim so that there's 1 billion phone users in Africa. The reason why I mentioned this is the great line by Monker. How do we combat poverty? We want to have the poor turn every single poor in this world into its own private investor. That's an absolutely beautiful line that Monker gave me, okay? That is how we will liberate the poor. We will reduce the poverty. We will turn every single person, that whether they have $1.25, whether they have whatever it is, $4,000, whatever they have, they control it themselves, okay? They are their own investor. They are their own controller, no matter how poor they are, okay? Therefore, we don't want to just talk about it. We want to put it into action, okay? So that is a great line, okay? Turn every poor into his own private investor. That is ultimately one way of reducing and eliminating poverty. The other way of reducing poverty, as mentioned by Queen, is reduce corruption. If we overnight can eliminate corruption, we will put 4% of the gross domestic product of a nation back into the nation's economy and wealth, okay? And that is what blockchain can do. As Andrew mentioned, the security aspects of it, you take the control from the human. We are all corruptible. I preach goodness, but I know I'm a man. I am corruptible, okay? I have all the sins of this world upon me, okay? So take that sin away from me and give it to the blockchain that will take away the corruption of mankind and eliminate that 4%. With that 4%, do you know how many? We can buy 500 million phone and give it to the poor and say, here's your $1.25. Put it into this phone that we're giving you from the 4% that we're saving you, okay? This is your own money. You are your own investor. Take control of your own destiny, okay? You are no longer poor. You can control your own money, okay? So that is our goal. That is what we want to do. That's what we want to put action into our talk. So obviously, I'm not going to rehash the fraud corruption part of it, which Yezcoin and GUC are embedded in their technology, okay? It is a vital component of security that people, when they use their financial, their 125, they know it is there, it's secure, and they can use it for quick, fast transaction. Now that's blockchain. So where's the AI come into it? The big, if you go to any expert now, it's all about AI, blockchain, okay? AI is simple. It's a machine that thinks for itself. It can be dangerous unless you program it correctly. With our moral code that we develop through our collective, we will program it correctly, okay? But AI uses vast amount of data to process, okay? Vast, trillions of bits of information that it needs to process to get the right information, analyze it. So blockchain, as Nicholas said, is a chain of block. So that is why AI and blockchain is a perfect marriage. AI is the next thinking machine, but it needs lots of data for it to process and come up with the right solution. Blockchain is that data management system that gets together, and that's why people are now these days talking about AI and blockchain. But the two are not the same, but they will going forward, okay? So with the panel of experts, of doers, not just talkers, but doers, that is the next stage of the evolution, is integrate artificial intelligence and blockchain. Now, along with giving 1 billion in Africa their own cell phone, so their own investor, we are going to turn every single app user with the cell phone, the billions around the world, to be part of the climate change activists, okay? So as Queen pointed out, even though 97% believes it, the 3%, there's a lot of ambiguity in the data. The data is locked up in the hierarchy of academia where I'm from. The common people, I'm afraid, are not part of that argument. And because they're not part of that argument, they don't believe in it, okay? Seriously, they don't believe in it. A lot of people still come to me, Dr. Ying, you're a nuclear physicist. Is there really global warming? Is there? I mean, I see it out there. It's like freezing out there. How can there be global warming? I'm freezing my butts up. There can't be global warming, okay? Therefore, along with the app that we'll create to manage your wealth, we're going to create the same app that will have its own artificial intelligence, so you can enter your own data. So all 7 billion people on this planet one day will have their own phone to control their own financial thing. They will also be their own climate change activists. They will enter their own localized climate data. What the temperature like, what the sea level like, what the humidity like, everything. All that will go to a single AI machine that whether the United Nations, it will not belong to any one nation. It will be independent. It will be accessible to the whole world. Okay, so you take the biasing out of it. So we want to turn every single human being on this world to combat poverty and to combat climate change, okay? So with your help and with these experts that are doing things now, they're doing things, they're not just talking about it, we will follow what the UN Secretary General said. We will combat poverty by embracing blockchain, but we are going to go to the next step, to the next evolution. We're going to take the artificial intelligence and also combat climate change. Yes, that's only 2 solutions of the 17 that the UN, but like you said to you, you know, we all got to take baby steps. As the saying goes, the impossible we can do. Miracles will just take a little bit longer. And I thank you all for listening to us and giving this opportunity of how we can work together to eliminate poverty and climate change, and how we can basically do the mandate that the ambassador Gambia has set for us and Queen has set for us from the day I told her, Dr. Ying, bring me solution. Less talking, more walking. Thank you very much.